It is my prayer that this series is helping you understand what discipleship really is. You see, we need a paradigm shift in the church today to think about our mission and to make the main thing the main thing. Discipleship is about disciple making. And so the goal of discipleship is to make disciples, who then make disciples, who then make disciples. And this is the essence of what we call spiritual multiplication. And we see this in 2 Timothy 2:2, where Paul says, "And what you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." Notice that when Paul is discipling young Timothy, Paul has the big picture in mind. He has an end goal. Paul is discipling Timothy, and he's saying, Timothy, I want you to take everything that you've learned from me, and I want you to entrust this to faithful men. You teach these other men to now know what you know and to do what I've taught you to do, and you entrust it to all these faithful men who will be able to teach others also. I kind of liken it to the game of bowling. You know, someone has to take the initiative to grab the bowling ball of the gospel message and to get it rolling towards its target. And when it hits one pin, it has this ricochet effect, and it begins to affect the other pins as well. Paul knew that biblical discipleship is not just addition. It's not just adding more people to our church attendance or through baptisms. Paul knew that biblical discipleship is multiplication. You see, your primary goal as a group leader or a disciple maker is to make and build up disciples who will also be able to make and build up disciples who will be able to make and build up disciples also. We need to have that vision and that big picture in mind as we begin to lead others. Whenever you are investing in others in this type of relationship, I want you to remember this. You're really investing in several generations of believers who have yet to come. Now just think about that. It absolutely blows my mind. In talking about that verse, Billy Graham, he said this, if every believer followed this pattern, the church could reach the entire world in one generation. Think about it this way. If you led 1,000 people to Christ every year for 36 years, how many people would you have reached for the gospel? The answer is simple, right? 36,000. But if you led 3 people to Christ, discipled them, trained each one to disciple 3 other people, and everyone who was discipled reached 3 other people each year, then get this, over the course of 36 years, the total number of disciples is 1,048,576. That means over 1 million people can all trace their spiritual heritage back to you. Friend, that is exactly what God has in mind when He talks about the Great Commission. Now, whenever you feel like this spiritual multiplication process is overwhelming or burdensome or even stressful to you, you need to remember and be encouraged by what Paul said to Timothy just one verse earlier. He said, be strengthened by the grace that is in Christ Jesus. Jesus gives us the grace to do what it is that He has called us to do. And that is such an awesome truth.